Hey, it's David Beckham, BreezeFlippers, back in the shipping room. It's Sunday. It's the end of a long weekend, it feels like. We were really busy yesterday, Saturday. We got up and we hit the first garage sale about 7 a.m., so we were up early. That was the first one that started. All over everywhere. I mean, we put on almost 100 miles yesterday going to garage sales. But we got some really good deals, and we'll talk a little bit about what transpired on that. The night before on Friday, we went to a private buy actually, off of Facebook. Somebody I bought stuff from before several times, and we'll talk a little bit about that too. And it's always good to build those relationships for a lot of reasons, because you can always get good stuff. And then today was just like nonstop. Got up, rode my bike, and we were just kind of going ever since. We had to go to our booth and do some work there. So it's just been a long day, and kind of ready for an evening to sit down and relax and edit some video and do some listings and stuff. So, but first, we're going to talk a little bit about what's sold and talk a little bit about what's going on. And I want to talk a little bit about promoted listings. So let's get into it. Okay, first of all, before anyone says anything, if you see this thing on the side of my face, no, that side, sorry, wrong side, I keep showing it. I had to have something taken off on Wednesday. This is part of getting old, I guess. Apparently it's sun damage, and they just freeze that stuff right off, and it makes a nice little blemish. So for a while, I'm going to have this spot. I just call it a beauty mark, though. We'll just call it a beauty mark. Who really cares? But overall, it's been a decent week. We actually, I think, doubled the sales that we had last week on eBay. We also had a great week on DibDit sales. We did I think I did 4 auctions total. But looking at what we did, it wasn't too bad. We did about $302 on, I think it was 3 different auctions. Yeah, it was 3 different auctions. And I had two afternoon auctions and an evening auction that I did with a friend, Pickin' Paradise. If you don't follow him, go over and check out his channel, Pickin' Paradise. And we did some auctions and for comics, and it was great. We had a fun time, really fun time. Ended up having 72 total sales all week on that channel, or DibDit, and about $300 in sales. So not going to complain, and it's a great way to move some of these comics that I'm sitting on. And I think some people got some really good deals. So that's been a lot of fun. But overall, like I said, this weekend kind of started out not too bad. The middle of the week picked up, and we had some good things that sold. So we'll talk a little bit about what sold, and I also want to talk just a few minutes about what's going on with the state of business. Honestly, I think it's slow right now. I think it's cyclical right now. It's going up and down for people. It is. It has been. I hear people saying, "Oh, we're having a great week," and then I hear people saying, "Oh, we're having a horrible week." Listen, this is just that time of year. I think it's comparatively from what we're looking at from last year. It doesn't seem to be as good, but I'm still making sales. Oddly enough, I'm still selling a lot of comics, which is crazy to me, on eBay, because it went and died for about a week and then now it picked back up again. So we're going to talk real quick, some of the stuff that's already shipped, but I want to tell you what sold. So I'm going to pop it up on the screen. One of the things is Thursday, I think, when a video came out, I made it on Wednesday. I talked about one of the comics that I said I was going to reprice, put it in free shipping, and try to get it to sell. It sold literally as I finished that video. When I was finished with it, it sold. And that was the Invincible #1. It's the SDCC Mexico foil variant. Ended up, that one thing it's a beautiful comic. But again, Invincible, it's if you could get the original one, it's worth a lot more. But this one sold, and it was raw, $47.49, and it went out free shipping. And if you haven't yet gone out to see Invincible on it's on Prime, I guess, Amazon Prime. If you haven't seen it yet, go watch it. It's really good. It's not a kid movie, though. Just going to warn you, it's really not a kid movie. Also sold a Elvis Presley Platinum, A Life in Music, a 4 CD box set. Had 100 songs on there. It's a really cool box set. $17.09, and that went out free shipping as well. Now here's an interesting one. So a year ago, I was at a garage sale, and I bought a whole bunch of these pewter plates, a whole bunch. I think there were 3 or 4. I can't remember, maybe 4. I didn't know anything about them, but he was like, "Oh, I couldn't sell them for this amount or whatever." I ended up getting all 4 of them for, I think, $30. So I was into it for a little bit, but from what I looked up, these could be good. They might not be good, but I knew they were worth at least $35 to $40. I thought. So anyway, I listed them all finally after a year. That's what happens sometimes. And this one went out, and it was actually, I said it had it as an antique sea braid pewter plate, 9-inch diameter, circa around 1900. It's antique. It was very, very old. I did my very, very best with Google, with eBay, everything I could think of to try and find the little symbols that are stamped into them to see who they were. And that was my best, absolute best guess of anything I could find. And it went up the same day. It literally sold the same day. So I think I undersold it. I'm sure I did. Anyway, it sold for $49.99. I got $8.99 shipping. So any time will tell, but it's always interesting if you look at the name of the people that bought it. It just looks like they're collectors. So I think they knew exactly what they were buying. The next couple things that I sold were 2 more comics, and this was sold to the same person. So they bought one, came back and bought another. But it was the Sergeant Fury and his Howling Commandos number 19 and Sergeant Fury and his Howling Commandos number 20. So they got both of them. Both of them were kind of fair. They weren't great shape, but they're Howling Commandos, and some of those are hard to find. I ended up getting $13.53 and $19.85, and I think it was $6.99 shipping for combined for both. So that was kind of fun, and I always, like I said, enjoy selling those. I've got more to list and sell of those Howling Commandos. There's some that I'm thinking about getting graded, but I got to weigh it out. You know, the graded ones aren't selling that fast. It's not that popular of a book. Whereas the raw ones, I'm probably going to make my money back quicker on that, so I may sell them raw. So we'll have to see. Now this next one was kind of interesting because the guy ordered it. It was on, I think it might have come in on, I'm not sure what night it was. Maybe Wednesday night. I'm not sure. Or potentially, it was probably Wednesday night. But anyway, they ordered it and canceled it. And I thought, oh, here we go. Now, I think it was Thursday, actually. It came in and canceled it. And I was like, oh, and then I read the note and it said, worried that it would not get here in time. I'm leaving the country on the 29th. So I looked up their address. It did a little customer service stuff, right, guys? So sometimes you got to do this, whether you want to or not. This is how you make a sale. Now, this comic, it's not an expensive comic. It is a remake, Spider-Man Collectible Series number 3, CGC 9.4. So it's a graded comic. It's in fantastic condition, right? But it was only listed for $39.99 and $12.99 shipping. So he said he was worried that it wasn't going to get there in time, but he really wanted it. And I said, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go in and I'm going to accept your cancellation. I will go in and tell you what the cost is, you know, to ship it to, if I get it expedited shipping. So looking it up, it was about between $16 and $20 to have it shipped UPS. So I think it was just slightly under 20, but with the time and everything I had to do to speed it up, and I had to put in a new listing. So I went in and canceled it, redid the listing, created another $20 expedited shipping, and sent it out UPS 2-day business select. So the guy held to his word. He bought it immediately as soon as I reposted it. He was just tickled to death. So says it's going to be there tomorrow. So knock on wood, he gets there on time. Everything's good, and he'll get his comic before he leaves the country. Now I don't know why he's leaving the country. Hopefully it's for good reasons. But anyway, but he is leaving the country. So, but he's going to take a comic with him. So it's a cool looking comic, and like I said, I was glad to be able to get the sale to him. And, you know, I'm always happy when a comic finds a home, because that means somebody really cared about it. They cared about it enough to buy it. I want to make sure they get it to their home. So the next one actually is, I'm going to be able to show it. This one's actually Daredevil number 305. It's a very fine, near mint. I actually probably underscored this one a little bit. It looks almost near mint. I mean, it's perfect. But ended up getting $9.02. It's going free shipping. It's not I don't think it's a key. I really don't. So I think it's just a regular comic. But it's funny because the guy said, please be kind enough to package this carefully to best avoid damage when shipping. Please supply me with the tracking number. Thank you. All the best. I do that anyway, right? I ship every one of my comics in a Gemini mailer. So they all get shipped with the greatest of care. And I've been shipping Geminis for forever and ever, and I don't have any problem shipping. Knock on wood, haven't had any problems yet shipping them. So we'll see what happens on it to make sure. Also sold some games, and like I said, every weekend we got to sell a few. Now these games, these are just actually in regular CD cases. I think they are all PS2 games. Yeah, they're PS2 games. So it's a game lot of 5, Arena Football, FIFA 06, NHL 2K, and NCAA Hoops 2K, an MLB actually. So didn't get a lot for it, $11.04, $5.99 shipping, but hey, you know, they sold, and we're still selling games. And if I look at it, and I'll tell you pretty soon what we are as far as percentage of games, I think we're still doing pretty good on games, as much as what we're selling. And you know, comics right now and collectibles are exactly what, you know, the biggest thing that we're selling, and that's the stuff I enjoy the most. But I like selling games too. I don't have any problems with it. This one, we went back and forth with this person, so I'm not going to take it out of the package because it's nicely folded. My wife did a good job at folding this one. But this is a Wrangler men's long tail, basically, or long Western cowboy shirt, black plaid, long sleeve, or I think it's long sleeve pearl snaps. Well, I hope that I was right. I have a feeling this is a short sleeve. I can't remember. I hope it's a long sleeve. Yeah, it's one of those things where I just remembered, oh, did I look at that? No, it's a long sleeve. Oh, good. Because all the other shirts that I sold, I think, were short sleeve. No, they were long sleeve. I can't remember. Selling clothes is my least favorite thing to sell. I don't find much enjoyment in it. So I pick them up. This one, I always pick these up. Wranglers with the pearl snaps. They seem to do okay. It just depends on the time of the year. This is a long sleeve shirt, though. So who knows? Went back and forth several things to try to get an offer, you know, through, they were offering me 8, they were offering me 9, and finally I said, no, I said 10 is what I want. And so they sent it back, and then I basically I just waited. So I sent the $10 offer, and they were like, nothing. It went, and it actually disappeared. The next day after it had gone and it basically expired, they sent me a $10 offer. So I was like, I guess I won that one. I don't know. We'll call it a win. But anyway, so I ended up going out. That's $10, and I think it was probably, you know, let's see what we get for shipping on these. Most of the time I charge $6.99 for shipping if it's a shirt like that, because they can cost a little bit. Actually, I got $7.99, so that'll pay for the package at least. So, all right, next one I sold is another comic. This one is actually a beautiful comic, but it's a Scooby Apocalypse #1. So here's a little thing I've learned, at least I've been taught, and I've listened to a lot of people. If you can find the #1 issues, generally it's a good one, right? Not always. #1 issues sometimes can be just #1 issues, but sometimes #1 issues can be good. Well, this one was all right. This was $11.39. Again, now most of my comics are going out free shipping. This is not a by any means something big. It might be a key, or I don't doubt it, but it is a #1 issue. So I always try to pick up the #1s whenever I see them, because you never know. You can always hit one. Sometimes you can hit a good one. So, but yeah, I'll pick those up whenever I get a chance. Also, I picked this up for $0.25 at a garage sale. This is basically King Cobra. I'm gonna see if this was the one I picked up for $0.25. No, actually, you know what? This was on a wood of some clubs that I bought, and I didn't want to sell it with it because it wasn't a King Cobra club. They had a King Cobra this on it, so this is a different one. But other words, probably didn't have anything in it really. But I ended up selling it for $12, going out free shipping. So that's a King Cobra driver cover. Let's see. Wouldn't be a good weekend if we didn't sell at least one hat, right? This one's pretty cool. It's a brand new. It says USA on the back. It's got nice screen, well, not screen print, actually, that's stitching. USA stitching on the front. And it's a new hat, new through. So anyway, didn't get a ton of money for it. $9.99, $4.99 shipping. That's going to go out. And then last but not least, this thing. So this is Needlecraft, a Busilla Needlecraft. And ended up selling that for $9 and getting $4.99 shipping. However, this one was bought 2 years ago at a estate sale of a prepper. I got to tell you, this guy was a serious prepper. He must have had, I think they told me they had almost $100,000 worth of prep food. You know, like the dried, freeze-dried food and all that stuff. He had so much of it, powdered food, all this stuff. Apparently he prepped very well and passed away, and everybody else benefited off of it, unfortunately. The guy had everything though. It was a museum, and so we went through and we bought a lot of different stuff, but the prepping stuff I didn't really touch because I didn't really need it, but there were people just loading up on it. So it was a miserable, horrible day that day. It was pouring rain, and my daughter and I were going, and it was just like we were trying to get through this place, but It had so much stuff in there. I just can't even tell you. I mean, books, magazines, old stuff. Um, yes, he had weapons, ammunition, guns, everything you can imagine. It was all being auctioned off or basically sold off. Some of the guns I think they were doing on a private sale, but it was crazy. Guy had a enormous porn collection. Go figure. You're gonna be stuck away for forever prepping. I guess you gotta have something. So anyway, it was an interesting sale, and we ended up just buying some things. You know, it was just there was some stuff that at that time I was still kind of a new to this, at least as far as selling the way I was selling. So it's some stuff I didn't pick up. Some stuff I kind of wish I would have now, but because he just had a lot of old like cameras and different things that were really cool. So. But that was a fun sale, but just like I said, at that time, I'm still learning. So, but that's what's going out this week. So far, it's been not bad, $607. I think that's twice what we did last week though. And if we look at our numbers, I always like to look at the numbers and tell you where we're at. So for the month of March, we are down by 5%. Not bad. I'm not going to complain. That's not horrible, right? And we look at our quarter, we are actually down. Oh, we're up still 54%. So not bad. I'm not going to complain. So we're still up, still doing, what we need to do. March has been a weird month. Like I said, January, February were weird months. We did really good. March, we didn't do so good. Now I tried to figure out what might have attributed to some of these things. I just think that there really isn't a whole lot that could attribute to it. It could just be we had the right stuff at the right time and the right people, right? That could be it. I did change some stuff last year towards the end of the year where I talked about promotions. We're going to talk just a minute about promotions. Now, I stopped promoting at the between 4 and 8% and started just flat out 2% on everything. So my theory was I was looking at the numbers when I went and looked at the numbers and said, okay, how much am I actually doing at the different percentages? And I was looking at the campaigns, and I was actually, to be honest with you, I was still doing, even on the 2% campaigns, I was let's see if I can find it here. I was actually doing better on 2% campaigns than I was on the 4 and the 8% campaigns. And that doesn't mean a whole lot because you have to really dig into numbers a little bit more and do a lot of math, right? But just kind of looking at it going, well, I'm still getting views and I'm still getting about 50%. Right now, it looks like 50% promoted and 50% organic. So promotion works for me. If I didn't have that other 50%, you got to think about cutting all your views in half, right? So I hear a lot of people go, I don't promote anything. Okay, well, that's fine. If you have a big audience on YouTube or you have a lot of followers on your store, I wouldn't promote either. If I had 2,000 or 3,000 people following my store, I would probably be less likely to promote on everything than I do now because it's automatic promotion. As soon as you put something out there, eBay sends out notifications that you have new stuff. If you're using if you have a store and you're using your email campaigns, you're letting people know that you have stuff. If you're running sales, you get kind of promoted up there and people know you have stuff. So I think that promotion's important for people that don't have a YouTube audience. Now, I have wonderful people, and thank you if you are following me on YouTube and you've subscribed. I appreciate it. I have to tell you how much heartfelt I appreciate people that actually care enough to listen to me and to comment and to subscribe. So I appreciate you very, very much. Now, the 140 something people right now that I have, and I hope that we can grow this. We're going to try to grow this. We really want to hit 1,000 by next year. That's the goal. We're going to try it. So we're going to do a lot more stuff to kind of promote that and work at that, but it still probably isn't enough to not promote, right? So I saw a video and I didn't get to watch it yet, and I just totally skipped the name of what it is, and I know you'll know him if I say it. Flipping ain't easy. I think he put a video out, and I haven't watched it yet, but I'm going to watch it. He says he doesn't think promoting at 2% is enough for anybody this year on eBay. He might be right. It might not be enough. And I started thinking about that today. It got me thinking while I was on my bike ride. I rode this morning about 15 miles. And I got to thinking about that and thought, he might be right. It may be a time to kind of start looking at some of these items that aren't getting a lot of views and pump up just a little bit more percentage in there for me. That may not work for every business, but it may work for me to get a few more eyes on there. But the other thing that goes along with that is you also have to have good listings, right? So you need to make sure that your main keywords are in the front part of your listing, and you have the description as much as possible in there. No flowery words, no extra symbols, none of that stuff you need in there. But you have to make sure that you have a good listing. And I firmly believe that having a description is good, but I'm starting to believe that people don't read them anyway, because I'll have people ping me and say, hey, does this have this? And I'm like, it's in the description, or it's in the fourth photo, or, I mean, so, I think on most of the people, I think if you look, I'm pretty sure that I saw this somewhere, so I'm not going to say it's gospel, but I'm pretty sure that the majority of people that go on eBay go from their mobile device, which seems very true. So if you look at your mobile device and you flip through eBay, how many pictures do you see, right? Those are the most important pictures. Now, I like to put a lot of pictures. I truthfully will use maybe, if I have to, I could put 24 pictures. I'll use as many as I can. And that always is something that I would try to show every angle, every possible, any problem, anything that goes along with it. But that doesn't mean they're looking at every picture. So having good listings, having good pictures, having clear photos, having a lot of, having information in there, a good description or a good condition description will do a lot for you and help you. But I don't know that that helps you a lot in getting more people and more sales, but at least it does help the sales kind of be more, maybe more solid. So I do believe in putting it in there, and I probably will continue that practice. I have templates that I use, and I send those out that way. And I build my listings with the templates and stuff. So I use those and try to use that, letting people know about our shipping policy and our return policy and all that stuff. So that's always just part of the template that I use. But I have kind of scaled back a little bit on big descriptions, because like I said, I don't think anybody's reading them. So I feel like it's probably a better use of my time to reduce those down a little bit, get the bare minimums in there and explain it, use the photos and try to do it that way. So, but yeah, I mean, that's my feeling is that I think sometimes though 2% might be a tough go, right? I think that the 2% may in one of those situations have to look and maybe push it up to 4%, maybe 5%. 8% is definitely my max, but I can tell you right now, if you put something at 8%, it's just going to go at 8%, whether it really deserved to be at 8% or not. So you can't control what's behind the scenes. We have to assume that eBay is being fair, but I've used dynamic ads before, and I had it set for between 4 and 10%, I think. And I swear every single time I had a sale, it was 10%. Didn't matter. It was always 10%. So I don't think that I don't know. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But I make sales at 2%. And I also make sales without any promotion at all. So I do know that promoting though does help. So if I look at my numbers, like I said, 50% of my views are coming from promotion, and 50% of my views are coming from organic. So that's my thought on promoting. Now, talk real quick about this weekend. And like I said, we had a really good weekend for picking. I think it was a really good weekend. Friday night, I have this guy on Facebook that I have made many deals with in the past. Most of them are all comic books. But comic books and collectibles. He has like some boarded figures. Pardon my dog. Probably another dog outside, and she wants to bark. But that's normal. All right, sorry about that. Anyway, but he has a lot of collectibles and he has a lot of comics. So every time I've ever purchased from him, he's been very generous with what I buy. And usually it's somewhere between $40 and $50 for the package of whatever it is, right? So I saw something he posted on Thursday, and I said, hey, I'm interested in this. And his name's Frank, super nice guy. And apparently he has quite a collection of comics and collectibles. And I said, hey, I'm really interested in this. Would you do... I think I said, I think he wanted 50 for it. I said, would you do 40 for it? And if I buy another one that I saw this no, it was 50. He wanted 60. I said, would you take 50 for it? And I'll buy another one that says 50 at full price. And he said, yeah. So I ended up picking that up. And let's see, from him, I think I picked up, 97 total comics. I paid $100. And I also got a Marvel book, huge book called Museum of Marvel. It's a book. I'll have to show it sometime, maybe in my next one. I just love the book. I'm not going to sell it. I love it because it's got this whole thing about Marvel Comics in there. And I ended up that, a whole bunch of collectibles, some cars, like Hot Wheel cars that are all still boarded, packaged, brand new in the package, and comics. And I got the comics home and did my normal thing. I always spend time, and I put all my comics into cover price when I buy like that, and create a virtual box. So I know exactly how much I spent, or at least how much I spent and how much I'm going to make. So I priced out those comics, and so I used cover price and basically put everything in a little bit lower grade because I don't over, judge it. But these were like a really great shape comics. I ended up paying $100, and on that buy, just the comics, 97 comics valued out at $611. So if I can sell them for that, I'm going to do pretty well on it. So I will make my money back. A lot of those comics, there's several of them that are going to probably get graded because they were really good shape. But then they're like Omega 1, the Omega, the Unknown, #1. It's almost near mint. I think if I send it off to get it graded, I think it could come back at least a 9.6, 9.8. That's a good possibility to make some good money on that one. But the bunch of the other items and stuff, some of the items went into our booth. Some of it's going to be sold on eBay, and a lot of those comics, they're $2 and $3, $4 comics. I'll probably sell them on DibDit and do quite well with those as well. So I'm excited. That was a great buy. And then we got back on that Friday night. Saturday got up early, went out and started hitting garage sales. So we're hitting a bunch of garage sales, found some really cool stuff. Ended up buying a bunch of Blu-rays, brand new, sealed. I think I bought 33, 34 of them for $30. Did really good on that, and so I'll end up selling those $2 each or more on DibDit. So we'll put it with the rest of our media and have another big media auction. I'll do really well. And then we just found some other stuff. We ended up at a rummage sale. Trinity, so I think it was Trinity Church or one of the churches had a huge rummage sale. And I forgot it was on my list because when I got there, I was like, oh, there's a church rummage sale. Well, we went in. They were very proud of their stuff. I was going to tell you, it's definitely a fundraiser. But right off the bat, my wife, as soon as she walks in, finds a package of comics, yay thick, and they were right on the top. I mean, I could see it was Howard the Duck, whole bunch of Howard the Duck, old ones. And I didn't know what else was in there, and it said $100 on it. I was like, so I'm like, give it to me and let's look at it. And there was another package that said $10 old magazines, and it had a Mad magazine on the top. So I thought, okay, give me that one too. I didn't even open that one. It was $10, and it had a Mad magazine on it. It was old magazines. I said it was that thick, so I was 15 or maybe 15 or 16 magazines, what I thought were magazines in there. So I said, I'm going to get that. And I started going through the ones, the comics. So I went through the first maybe quarter of them, and there's like 5, 15, 20, 15, 5. I mean, these were all very valuable comics. I was looking them up. I was like, okay, I'm going to get them all, put them back in the bag. And I asked the lady, I said, is this the best we can do, $100? She said, yes, I've looked them all up. So I love it when people say, I've looked them all up. I'm like, oh, good heavens. I always want to ask them, did you look up sold prices or did you look up? And then, I also tried to say, well, some of these conditions aren't great. So I was trying to get her down there, and she said, no, $100 today. If you come back tomorrow and they're still here, I'll do a deal then. I'm like, I'm not going to let these go. So anyway, so I paid the $100, and I think it was $110. So I ended up getting home, sat down, did those again in cover price, and ended up having $426 value of that one. And if I look at it, there was one in there that is, believe it or not, it came from the $10 bag. There's a comic in there called Feds and Heads, and it was an old comic from the 70s, the wild hippie era. And that thing is selling for between $40 and $60. It's not even really a comic. It's just kind of weird. But there were some other books in there. There was a heavy metal magazine in there that's probably worth $15. That $10 bag actually yielded probably $100 and maybe $105, somewhere around there. So I was tickled to death to see that. The other comics would be great. I think some of them are going to be really good. I got a Howard the Duck #1 in there. I've got a this is the one, the dinosaur, Devil Dinosaur #1. There's a couple #1s in there. So, and they were in such good shape. I'll probably get them cleaned and pressed and probably grade those because I just think they'll be fun ones to grade. So can't complain. Not the greatest buy in the world, but $100 and the $400, I'll make my money back on, no doubt. And it's just fun. I love going through them. So to me, getting that was a blast because I got to go through and see these comics, and some of these are really cool. I've never seen the Devil Dinosaur comics. I didn't even know they went back that far. So that was fun. But that's kind of what went on. I mean, it's been, like I said, crazy weekend, and you know, lots of stuff that, this week we're going to do some more auctions. I'm going to have some more comic auctions. We're probably going to have a media auction, and I don't know what else we're going to do. We'll kind of throw it in there. I'd really like to do another auction with Pick in Paradise again, and I have another guy that's his name is the Goat Herder. I can never say it. Goat Hoarder, the Goat Hoarder. Okay, that's his name. Anyway, I want to do one with him as well because he wanted to do an auction together for comics. So it's fun doing tandem auctions like that because you get to play off each other and talk to each other. So there's actually communication going on, whereas a regular auction, you're the one doing all the talking and you're trying to read all the messages because people are messaging. So it's a lot of fun. If you haven't had a chance to go there yet, though, go to DibDit, DibDit.com. And if you use BreezeFlips, you get $5 off your first purchase. And it's just fun. Yeah, it's a great community. That's one thing I will say about it. The Trash to Cash guys have built a great community over there. Really good people, and they manage it very well and very tightly. And they've got good admins, Death Pile Picker and all those guys that are doing admin work for them. And it's really enjoyable. And I haven't had any issues. It's been fun. I'm going to do a card auction over there pretty soon. So I have a bunch of cards too that I want to start moving. So, and since I'm kind of collecting those now too, so it's just fun. I like collecting stuff. So it's been a blast doing that. So that's what's going on this week, guys. It's been, like I said, busy, but work is crazy. It's always crazy, but I definitely enjoy this part of it, and I enjoy the videos, and I enjoy talking to you guys. So I hope you have a great week. I hope you stay safe. I hope your business does great. I'm David Beckham, BreezeFlippers. We'll see ya.